Hey, everybody, how you doing? Happy New Year! Welcome to PHLY Flyers presented by Bet365. My name is Bill Matz. I'm your director of fun and games for the evening. Joining me live in the Xfinity mobile studio, it is Philly's #1 hockey beat writer, Charlie O'Connor. Happy New Year's Eve, Chuck.
I was going to say, it's not quite Happy New Year. We still have 3 hours to go.
Well, I mean, we have a lot of overseas viewers and things. It's well into New
fair.
Year's for many of them. I know we're huge in Australia, and it's been New Year's for like 9 hours for them or something. So
Not wrong.
I want to make sure everyone's feeling included. Chuck, we're gonna get into tonight's game. Obviously, New Year's Eve showdown between the Flyers and Flames out in Calgary. I saw the picture from the press box, Chuck. How happy are you not to be looking straight down over the edge?
I am going to do my best to not go back to Calgary until after they have the new arena. That is by far my least favorite arena. I honestly, when I cover games in the press box up there now, I just watch the game on the Jumbotron. I don't, because I get so freaked out by being up there. Like, look, I'm not a heights person. I'm not. But I'm generally okay as long as I don't have to look straight down. If I can look on an angle, I'm good. And 99% of press boxes in the NHL allow you to look on an angle. This is the only one, the one in Calgary, where like if you drop your pen or your notepad, it's like falling on the ice. That's insane. Why would you design an arena like that?
To mess with the media, you guys are to blame for everything. Even things just random fans say it's the media's fault. So obviously, but if you want much better seats to watch the Flyers, well, why not just come with us to see them at home against the Ducks? You can do it at our sweet takeover. It is now only a week away. January 6th, Flyers Ducks in Philly at the Xfinity Mobile Arena. And we're doing the sweet takeover again. Join us. It's going to be a great time. Go to allphly.com/events. Get your tickets now. This is going to sell out. It's one of the most anticipated games of the season. We're going to have a great time. It was so much fun last year. One of the best Flyers experiences I've had, definitely in the last decade or so. But honestly, ever. It was so much freaking fun. Now there's even more to it, not just Cutter. Jamie Drysdale's going. Trevor Zegras is here. They've got Ryan Poehling. Gudis is still there. It's going to be.
They do have Ryan Poehling. I forgot about Ryan Poehling.
Hey man, I saw him. I saw him block a shot today. I was watching a little of the Lightning game, and I was like, I do miss that guy and his tinted visor. But make sure you come out with us. Go get your tickets now. allphly.com/events. This is going to be a ton of fun. Treat yourself in the new year. All right, Chuck. We're going to do a lot of this stuff in post-game. It's official. Travis Sanheim has made Team Canada, and Yegor Zamula has been traded to Pittsburgh for Philip Tomasino. We will discuss this more in depth. I do want to just mention about Sanheim, because it's pretty cool, the order of events here, Chuck. We all remember almost 3 years ago, Sanheim gets scratched in Calgary. It was February 20th, 2023. His family's going to be there. He doesn't find out until like it's too late. And now, as he prepares to play against the Flames, he gets to tell his family he's going to represent the whole freaking country in the Olympics. That's so sick. And all I can think is somewhere John Tortorella is taking credit for this. That we'll get to all that stuff in post game, Charlie. But it is just really cool. It's been a while since we've had best on best actual Olympic hockey, and all those years it was it would be cool if Giroux would go, but for some reason he can't, and then they just stopped going. And now we're gonna get to see Travis Sanheim rock the Maple Leaf, so that will be really fun for he and his family. But let's get to tonight's game, and I'm assuming not a ton of changes. We'll wait on the actual lines, but
there are definitely no changes to the lineup.
Okay.
And I imagine that there will be no changes to the lines. Jackie Spiegel's obviously on the trip, and Tocchet at pregame availability, he said no changes to the lineup, didn't specify if there are going to be any line tweaks, but given the way that they played the final 49 minutes of last night's game, I can't imagine they're going to make any major changes, any changes at all, really.
Yeah, no, I didn't think. I watched the post game or the pregame availability, and I honestly wasn't paying attention. Didn't hear him say it. I was doing something else. But it will be Sam Ersson in net tonight, as one would expect. It was Dan Vladar in Vancouver last night. So it'll be Ersson against Vladar's old team. You see the numbers there. 6-4-4 with the nearly 3 goals against, the .872 save percentage. I will say he has been considerably better lately, Charlie. Good opportunity for him here. Alexei Kolosov in the matchup on, I believe, November 2nd looked pretty good against these same Flames, and we all remember what Kolosov looked like last year for the most part. So perhaps a get right opportunity here for Sam against a Flames team that doesn't score all that much, isn't really the most dangerous or deep offensive team.
Yeah, I would agree. I mean, as Rick Tocchet mentioned in the pregame, Calgary's been playing better. You know, he said they won their last 6 games at home. So it's not like they are the dumpster fire that they were at the start of the season. But this is no juggernaut. It really was no juggernaut last year either. It was just like last year they overachieved. And this year you're maybe kind of seeing the regression. So this is, well, I don't think Calgary is as bad as post Quinn Hughes trade Vancouver. I think Vancouver was the worst of the 2 teams they were doing in this back-to-back. But Calgary is still a very beatable team on a lot of levels, and the Flyers should have a pretty good chance of coming away with the sweep of the back-to-back, I would say.
Yeah, absolutely. And like I said, it's the last 7 games for Ersson, .891 save percentage. So not exactly setting the world on fire, but when the season number is, what was it, .872 or whatever the hell that said, that's a drastic improvement, I would say, Chuck. Yeah, .872 on the season, .891 the last 7, and was just looking at that workload for Ersson, because that's something that I've been thinking about really since they signed Dan Vladar. How are they going to split this thing up? And it's become quickly, like months ago. Oh yeah, Vladar's the number 1 goaltender. That happened right away. Right now, Ersson, tonight's his 14th start in the Flyers' 39th game. He had 19 starts through 38 last season, and he missed almost a month in November leading into December. Like, it was like second week of November into the first week of December, he missed that whole time. Still had made like half the starts. So his workload has been cut pretty dramatically at this point. How are you feeling about Sam Ersson as he goes into start number 14 and the final one of 2025?
Well, I think he's been better over the last few weeks. I mean, that's not saying that he's been perfect. He's had some rough goals. That game against the Rangers in particular, that was bad. That he was probably the biggest reason why they don't win that game in regulation and then ultimately lose it in in the shootout. But overall, I think he's been passable. I think there haven't been many games this year, and you look at his record is pretty good. There haven't been many games this year where, like, I would say they lost the game because Sam Ersson played. There have been plenty of games where they probably should have won the game in regulation because Sam Ersson played, but a lot of those games they won in a shootout because Ersson's generally speaking good at shootouts. So while the numbers are bad, I'm not necessarily sure if he has hurt them too much in the standings, if that makes sense. And hopefully that holds tonight.
Oh, so we actually do have a little bit of a lineup change here,
we do?
Charlie.
Okay.
It was just 59 seconds ago. Jackie Spiegel tweeted. So there is a change. Emil Andre is on the ice, but did not take line rushes. The forwards remain what we've seen: Dvorak, Zegras, TK, Coots, Barkey, Tippett, Cates, Michkov, Brink, Abels, Grundstrom, Gurbenkin. The defense, however, a little different. We're looking at Sanheim, Drysdale, York, Ristolainen, Sealer, Juleson. So I guess maybe Andre got a little banged up, tested it out in warm-ups, and then line rushes happen, and we're getting a little bit of a mix-up here with Sealer and Juleson making up that third pair, Risto jumping up with York, Drysdale with Sanheim.
Yeah, I'm intrigued. I mean, I hope that this is more of a case. And look, like, maybe Andre's banged up a little bit. I'm even fine if he's not. If it's just like, hey, we got to get Juleson into a game. He's got to play sometimes. It's not going to kill Andre to sit in the second game of back-to-back, especially in a game where it's against an out-of-conference foe. Like, I'm fine. I don't think he has to play every single game. But I will say I'm intrigued by the idea of Sanheim Drysdale. That's interesting to me because I think we both agree Jamie Drysdale has improved his 5-on-5 play dramatically this year. Rick Tocchet has made note of that on a couple of occasions, but I think we agree with that sentiment. He has gotten a lot better. He's been in a second pair role. Now, he's gotten heavy minutes in some of those games, but he hasn't gotten the tough minutes, those Travis Sanheim minutes. They're giving him a chance. Getting top minutes, getting tough minutes against the top line, getting the toughest usage, the toughest shifts. I'm going to be keeping a close eye on Jamie Drysdale in this game to see how he handles it.
Do you think, just thinking about my perception of Emil Andre, maybe a heavy forecheck is the thing that is his Achilles heel. They have 4 guys, including 3 forwards, with at least 92 hits on the season. Adam Klapka is sitting there with 132. So maybe it's just, okay, we want to match a little bit of their physicality. And so we'll get Juleson in there. We have Sealer already, Risto already. Maybe they don't want to go so small. I'll tell you what I'm interested in, and this will come up in bets in a little bit, Charlie, is, we've talked about Jamie Drysdale. You said a few shows ago, in his pairing with Emil Andre, he's like the steadying force veteran, 5-on-5 defender that kind of lets Emil Andre be Emil Andre, do the things that he's going to do. I wonder if Drysdale can kind of fill that role and let Sanheim get a little loose. I know he's from Manitoba. It's 9.5 hours away, but like I said at the top of the show, it's where he played his junior hockey. There's the story from a couple of years ago where he got scratched. Maybe this lets him play a little offense tonight and cash in on some of that Olympic cachet he's got. Feeling good. Maybe he's going to use that energy to be the rover John Tortorella had him being a little bit more.
Hey, maybe. The struggle I have with that concept is, well, I agree that based on the way Jamie Drysdale has played this year, that is sort of the role he's taken. I want him to at some point activate more. I want him to add that to his game. Now, maybe he's not there yet. And maybe right now, it could be an opportunity for Travis Sanheim to freelance a little bit more if Drysdale plays more of the the steadying presence like he has been next to Emil Andre these last few weeks. If that's the case, I'd like to see Travis Sanheim, gallop a little bit. I know the Flyers posted that video of him calling his parents to tell them that he made the Olympic team, and they mentioned that they're on their way to the airport, so they're obviously coming to this game.
I assume that's where they were going. Maybe they're going on vacation.
I would assume that they are coming to the game. That would make the most sense. And I think he actually says I'll see you soon. So It seems like they are indeed coming to this game. So he's going to have family, at least his parents, maybe more than that, in the stands. Maybe this is an opportunity for Travis Sanheim to show off a little bit. And you know what? He's earned it. I'm really happy for Travis Sanheim. I said that on Twitter today that, he's come a long way, and I'm really happy for him that he's going to get to represent his country.
It was a little less than 3 years ago. He got scratched, healthy scratched against this team. And, now he gets to do that real full circle. I will say, Charlie, we saw a little bit of that from Drysdale last night. There was, we make the joke. I made the joke that maybe no more one-timers for Drysdale, but there was one shift where he carried the puck in, was absolutely flying, skated around with it a little in the offensive zone. Wouldn't mind seeing him use those legs to activate either. But that is really the only lineup news now. It looks like Emil Andre out, Noah Juleson in, and a mix-up of the D pairs. Forwards remain the same. Ersson starting. On the other side, I want to talk about the Flyers' success in back-to-backs because it's been a little bit of an issue for them in past years, but maybe they're getting over that now with new regime, team getting a little more mature. We'll talk about that, but right now, it's time for our break. Just this afternoon, I'm over at a friend's place. He is pumped to be watching some football. There's some hockey games on, and I'm happy to be with him, but his setup, it's a total mess. We're talking lagging, we're talking buffering, switching between all these apps to try to find the games we're looking for. I've known him his whole life. He claims he's a big fan, but I feel like I've been fan-fished. You see, if you call yourself a hockey fan, if you call yourself a football fan, a sports fan of any kind, you gotta have Xfinity. It's the ultimate sports destination. I can find all the best games and all my favorite teams all in one place, and the way I watch, it is next level. It's the perfect fan flex. You get all the action right in your living room, plus Xfinity's best picture and sound with enhanced 4K is so clear, feels like I'm in the arena, and sometimes I can even get up to 4 games going at once with the multi-view, because why not? So next game day, make sure you're a big fan and not a big fail. Learn more at Xfinity.com. Xfinity, imagine that. Restrictions apply. Multi-view requires Xfinity 4K capable TV box. Do we really want Matvei Michkov playing goalie? No, because it's not worth the risk, time, or money. It just doesn't make sense. You want to keep your stars focused on doing what they do best, and the same goes for your business. And Togo can help any business looking to streamline operations, become more efficient, or unlock more time for their best people. From customer service and accounting to order management, logistics, admin, and data entry, and even complex multi-step operational processes, Togo takes it off your plate at a fraction of the cost. And every engagement with Togo starts with free process mapping and engineering. Togo doesn't bill a dime until the real work begins, with programs starting as low as $1,000 a month, so you're not even going to break the bank. Each Togo program includes dedicated staff, custom automations, and US-based process engineers who act as your quarterback, giving you complete control, total transparency, and instant efficiency. At Togo, you call the plays, we execute. Visit harnesstogo.com. Scale smarter, work faster, and stay focused on winning. So, Charlie, back-to-backs over the last few years, it's been like, yeah, just kind of pencil them in for a loss in that second one. That's kind of been the case. And the way the season started, it was, well, this might continue. The first two they had, first 2 days of November, they lose at home against Toronto, and then at home against these very same Calgary Flames. And then in the middle of the month, November 14th and 15th, that big win against St. Louis where they should have killed them, but the goaltending wasn't great. And then they come out against Dallas. Now, granted, Dallas is awesome, and they get destroyed. But since then, they've been pretty good. They're 2-2-1 overall in the back end of back-to-backs. November 28th, 29th, they beat the Islanders in a shootout, and they beat the Devils in regulation in Jersey. They lose those consecutive shootouts to the Hurricanes because they just can't beat that team. And then just last week, they beat Vancouver, and then they followed up with a win in Chicago. So they're 2-0-1 in their last 3 back ends of back-to-backs. Do you think this is like a sign of maturity, or just, yeah, man, they played Chicago?
Well, it certainly helped that they played Chicago. I feel like if they would have played a better team than Chicago, they probably do lose that game. But that was extremely tough circumstances. You know, not only is it the second game of a back-to-back, it's a home road that's at the end of a really busy stretch. They obviously had injuries in game. So I think they benefited from playing a weak team in Chicago. Now, is it a factor that they are getting to be a more mature team? Maybe, could be. This is going to be, you know, while Calgary isn't a very good team, Calgary did not play last night. This is a, Flyers played last night with travel, playing against a rested team. Now, they did play on Monday, so it's not like we're talking about multiple days, but Calgary does have the energy advantage. You saw last night, the Flyers had the energy advantage over Vancouver. Vancouver came out hot, only took the 1-goal lead. Then the Flyers overtime took over the game. If the Flyers can start out fast, which has been a problem for them this season, obviously 26 times they've given up the first goal thus far this season. But if they can start out fast, you'd like to see them get more than a 1-goal lead. You know, maybe then they can protect a lead and not have to be giving it their absolute 100% maximum energy on every shift to try to come back, whether it's a tie game or whether they're losing. So want to pay close attention to how they start this game, because they are presumably going to be at a bit of an energy deficit in this game, even though they're not playing against a great team.
I will say, and it helps that they were able to open up like a 2-3 goal lead last night. Tocchet did a pretty good job of managing the bench, rolling the line. This was mentioned, I think, in Tocchet's pregame. Like, Sanheim only played 20 minutes. We talked about the TOI. It was pretty evenly distributed last night. It wasn't like there's a bunch of, your top 3 forwards and top 2 defensemen played 25 and everyone else was just kind of chilling. So there should be, I guess, fresher than typical legs. We'll see how that plays out. I do want to talk a little bit about the Flames now and the last time these teams played, because it was a loss in a back-to-back. They lose 2-1 in Philly, November 2nd. TK scored the only Flyers goal, and the offense put up only 18 shots.
Yeah, this game was bad.
Dustin Wolf.
This was a bad game. I remember this one. This was a game where I remember writing a column and just kind of being like, that game was an embarrassment, because this is when the Flames were playing real bad. Yes. They have been getting better. They're still not a good team, but they've been trending upwards. The Flyers got them in this first game when the Flames were like the worst team in the league, and they just flopped. They created nothing. Now, the offense has been much better recently, but obviously you don't want to see them repeat what they did in that game, regardless of whether it's a second game of back-to-back or not.
And that's what I wanted to talk about, because I've been saying this, and I actually looked up the numbers and can actually talk about it today. That was the part of the first 16 games. I think that was game 12 or 13 maybe. First 16 games of the season, the Flyers scored 2 or fewer 8 times. They weren't scoring. They averaged 2.5 goals a game. That was 29th. They were under 25 shots a game. They were last in the league through those first 16. Since November 14th, the last 22 games, they're 9th in the league in scoring. They're at 3.27 goals a game and almost 27 shots a game. That's 26th in the league. But hey, I'll take it. It's no longer 32nd. They're moving up. They're shooting at a decent clip. We talked about that with Grundstrom. Maybe there's some regression, but the team is scoring and generating more offense than they have, which is good because so is Calgary. Calgary came in horrible, and their numbers since that time are a lot better. They'll be taking on Dustin Wolf tonight. I saw that was confirmed on Daily Faceoff earlier. He is not quite having the year he did last year, where he finished 2nd in Calder voting, 8th in Vezina voting, and actually got 1 4th-place vote for the Hart. He put up a 2.64 and a 9.10 last year. This year, it's not going quite as well. 13, 14, and 2 with a nearly 2.9 goals against and an 8.99 save percentage. Now, compared to Ersson's numbers, spectacular, but not quite what I think Calgary was hoping for when they moved on from Dan Vladar and just said, Wolfie, you're the guy.
No, he's having a bit of a sophomore slump, to be sure. And he started out the season even worse, so he has been trending upwards. Yes. It's like his numbers are getting better. And really, an 8.99, while we're still in 90s, 2000s, 2010 goalie brain, an 8.99 is basically league average at this point, so it's really not that bad. Now it doesn't look good because we've trained ourselves over the last 3-4 decades to tell ourselves that anything under 900 is awful and trash. It's really not. An 8.99 is not terrible. It isn't as good as he was last year. And they were obviously hoping he was going to follow up a really strong rookie year with an even better second year. This is where I do think that probably the impact of not having Dan Vladar hurts, because Vladar was so good at eating those tough matchups last year for Wolf. Well, guess what? He ain't there anymore. So now Wolf has to take a lot of the tough matchups that he wasn't taking last year, probably making his workload tougher, probably making his life, generally speaking, more difficult. And it's probably leading to why his numbers are down a little bit, but they are up from where they were when the Flyers faced him a month and a half ago, 2 months ago.
No, his numbers were Ersson-like. They were disaster-like. And it's just looking at how last year went for Wolf. Again, 2nd in Calder voting. He wins it, if not for the historic numbers Lane Hudson put up. 8th in Vezina voting. He's a legitimate top 10 goalie last season. This year, not so much the case. I want to look at the rest of their roster real quick, then we'll get to bets. Their roster just cracks me up. And I know they have been better lately. Tocchet pointed out they've been better at home. Their top 3 scorers, Charlie. Naz Kadri. He's got 31 points in 39 games. He's 35 years old. Rasmus Andersson is their 2nd leading scorer, 29 points in 39 games. He's a defenseman. Their 3rd leading scorer, Michael Backlund, 36 years old. What the hell is this team?
Yeah. Well, I mean, this is very funny because looking at these names, Naz Kadri, 35, but I think most teams in the NHL would love to have Naz Kadri.
Everyone would take him, yeah.
Yeah, so whatever, Kadri, good player. Rasmus Andersson spent the entire summer begging to be traded to Vegas. It was I don't want to be here, and not only do I want to be traded, I only want to be traded to one specific team, the Vegas Golden Knights. Trade me there. They didn't, so he's still a Flame. And then Backlund, Michael Backlund, he is Sean Couturier. He is Sean Couturier. That is who he is. He is that player where he doesn't score as much as people think. He looks awkward at times, but he's great defensively and he still drives play. He is Sean Couturier, and he is their 3rd leading scorer. That's where Calgary's at.
He's their 3rd leading scorer. Coots is not the Flyers' 3rd leading scorer.
No,
he has 21. Not. He has 21 points. He's only a few behind Backlund. I find that very funny.
Yeah, Jonathan Huberdeau has 19 points.
Yes.
Yikes.
Yeah. Names I did not mention, Charlie. Morgan Frost and Joel Farabee, because they are 6th and 8th on the team in total points, respectively. Farabee, he's actually been playing with Kadri a little bit, but he plays about 13 and a half minutes a night at even strength. That's the 5th most among Flames forwards, and Frost is at 12 and a half. That's the 8th most. So they are getting second and third line usage for a team that could really use the firepower we once thought these two had, but apparently their development has continued to stall in Calgary.
It just seems like they are what they are,
Yeah,
and they're both NHL caliber
They're
players.
fine NHL players.
They're fine players, but it seems like the Flyers were right, at least so far, to evaluate that neither of them were going to take another step, because now they are both more or less what they're going to be. They are now prime age players. Now, is it possible like that you see like a late 20s Travis Sanheim leap? Yeah, it's possible, but you don't bet on that. This is probably what they are, and what they are decent enough middle 6 players.
No, absolutely. And like you just said, the Flyers were right, at least as of now. I would go so far as to say, even if something happens where they have the TK, the Travi late career jump, tip of the cap. Because I don't see that. Like, didn't see it coming then. Still, based on the numbers right now, don't see it happening. But it is funny, like, man, so much of what we thought the future of this team was going to be were those two. And here they are in Calgary, just kind of putting in the work, being second, third line players. That's kind of just what they are. It's very, very surprising. All right, it's time for our Bet365 pregame picks. Sign up for Bet365 and use code PHLY365 to deposit $10, then place a bet for $5 to get $150 in bonus bets. Whether your bet wins or loses, must be 21 plus an NPA. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. All right, this looks like a lot, but it's really just bets on two different guys. 4 bets. But we are going to take a Sanheim anytime goal at plus 850 and a Sanheim to record at least 1 point at plus 190. Thinking about that Olympic team, thinking about him maybe wanting to show off in front of the family. Again, it was just a little less than 3 years ago. He got scratched for this game. And now he just got to tell his family he's going to the freaking Olympics. And they will, I assume, be in the crowd tonight to cheer on one of the Canadian representatives that will be coming up in Milan in a few months. I'm so happy. I've never even been the biggest Travis Sanheim fan, Charlie. I'm just freaking happy for the guy, though. Like, even like taking that part out of it, like as a human being, I am happy as hell for Travis Sanheim, and I'm gonna use that to try to make some money off of him tonight, because that's America, baby. All right. For the Flames, we are going to have the same bets for Jonathan Huberdeau. Anytime goal at plus 280, over half a point at minus 115. The reason is real simple, Chuck. He kills the Flyers. I know he's one of the more maligned players because of his contract, and you see the way the trade went for Florida and the way it went for Calgary, and you go, oh, that's rough. Regardless, 17 goals and 32 points in his career in 30 games against the Flyers, and a lot of it's been recent. Not just like when he was flying high in Florida. 2 goals on November 2nd, the last time these teams played. 2 goals and 6 points in 2 games against the Flyers last season. A goal and an assist against the Flyers in 2023-24. He has been torturing them even in his downfall, during his downfall here in Calgary, despite all that. So if someone's going to score tonight, it's going to be Jonathan Huberdeau. I'm going to bet on him. All right, we have a few super chats. Let's get to those and then watch this game. All right, first one is from Obi-Wan. He says, happy effing New Year. Happy New Year to you as well, Obi. We always appreciate you dropping by, especially on a holiday. Next one here is from Adam S. See you guys at the Sweet Takeover. Happy New Year. Absolutely,
that's right, Adam S.
There we go. Adam is coming to the Sweet Takeover. That is going to be a great time. January 6th. Go to allphly.com/events. Get them tickets before they sell out. And finally, from Gary B., Denver Barkey or Carl Grundstrom cash in the twine this evening. I didn't want to jinx Grundstrom. And we've done the Barkey thing a couple games in a row. Didn't work, so I'm getting off that. I'm just going with Sanheim. Good veteran. He won't be affected by my vibes. We'll leave Barkey and Carl Grundstrom alone. I feel like if you jump in on Grundstrom now, you're asking for it. Like, oh yeah, well, of course, if he didn't make it a 5-game goal streak, because I bet on him. So I wanted to leave that alone. But that is all the time we have for you on PHLY Flyers pregame presented by Bet365. Thank you all for listening. Thank you for hanging out. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. Make sure you all come back and tell your friends to tune in for postgame, because we're spending our New Year's with you. I want you with me. And guess what? We might even take some calls as well. If you're a diehard, check for the link in the Discord. All right, follow us on Twitter at PHLY_Flyers, and follow the podcast wherever you get those. Just search PHLY Flyers. I am Bill Matz. That is Charlie O'Connor. Till postgame, let's go Flyers.
We all sit